go ahead and record, and then we'll just this is Deprescribing. This is our 54th one, and today I'm going to talk about an intro to holistic healing. And this is to kind of put a lot of it together, the things we've learned and the different choices and alternatives. There's so many out there that people don't know about. So let's jump in. I will share my screen. And then let's get going here. Okay, you guys can see it? It looks great?
You're good.
Okay. And you can just see this. Okay, it's fine. All right, so this is Intro to Holistic Healing. This is our 54th one, and this is what we're going to talk about today. Western medicine versus holistic health. An overview of the holistic health concepts. I'm going to talk about the 7 planes of existence, and I don't think I've talked about that here at all. And then the 7 pillars of health. So these are all just different approaches, and a lot of them we've heard about as we've come. And then the meridians, the energy systems that run throughout the body. We heard that from Dr. Alfonso Monzo, who was here last week, if you guys saw him, or a couple weeks ago. And then some different holistic health practices. So there's so many ways to heal and approaches to take. And that's why we're doing Deprescribing, so we can share it. Okay, so first let's define what is holistic medicine. This focuses on treating the whole person rather than the symptoms of a disease. It considers physical, emotional, mental, spiritual well-being. And it can include conventional medicine treatments as well as alternative and complementary approaches. This is actually an AI definition, so
Uh-oh.
AI, yeah. And then these are different terms we heard, so I thought it would be good to take a second to define them. Alternative medicine refers to medical treatments that are used instead of conventional. So again, these all kind of refer to the same things, but alternative also makes it seem like it's not mainstream, it's not the first choice, right? So it also is kind of a play on the language as well. Complementary medicine refers to treatments that are used alongside conventional, so these people are open to both of them. So their example is a cancer patient undergoes chemotherapy and may also use meditation, massage, or acupuncture. So this still sort of puts the conventional as the top priority. And then integrative medicine combines both of them in a coordinated and evidence-based way. And they're also into treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And then natural medicine broadly refers to treatments derived from nature. So we kind of hear these, so and they're kind of used interchangeably, but just a little quick on what they are. So moving on, what is holistic medicine versus Western medicine? Now I do a comparison of them. And when we talk about chronic disease, because we're going to use this as an example, statistics about half of adults, 117 million people, had one or more chronic health condition, and 86% of our healthcare spending is for chronic diseases that are preventable. And I think it's gone up since this statistic, but chronic diseases are a huge place in that we can do better with. Huge opportunity to improve healthcare, Maha, right? So chronic diseases, if it's treated so bad, how are we treating them? What is the standard thing with Western medicine? It's like, okay, we go to the doctor writes a prescription, and then you go to the pharmacy to get a medication that's covered on insurance, right? This is our healthcare system, right? That medication is probably made in India or China. So what happens when it doesn't work?
Money.
Do it again. And again.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah.
And again.
More.
And we call you at the pharmacy good customers, but here we're trying to do a little bit better. So here's some different overviews of them. Holistic treats the cause. They're always looking for the underlying cause. Western medicine, they don't really know the cause. Everything, they can't seem to figure it out. So they're going to treat the symptom and make you feel better. The example I use is rheumatoid arthritis. They don't know, so they're going to suppress inflammation with a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Then they'll give you another medication on top of that, and then soon they'll suppress the immune system. Swelling comes from the immune system reaction. Once you suppress the immune system, you don't have swelling, but now you're also vulnerable to infections and all kinds of other problems. A holistic treats the entire person, including the body, mind, and spirit, whereas Western medicine treats the part that's broken. And you know what's interesting is if you were here for Dr. Alfonso Manzo, he was saying he had surgery on his heart when he was a kid. He had a hole in his heart. And he said the scar tissue, when he learned the energy fields, the meridians of it, he realized that it was blocked, and that's why he had stomach problems. So this whole body is connected. The scar tissue in his heart affected his GI tract, and you wouldn't know that if you were if you're going to a Western medicine doctor, you're gonna have a heart doctor, and you're gonna have a GI doctor, right? And they're not gonna talk, and nobody's gonna know what anybody else is doing. So that came really clear at this point when he presented. If you guys haven't seen his is really good information. Again, if you haven't seen him, he has pressure points on the body where you put both your hands that can stop arrhythmias, it can stop, palpitations, a heart attack, stroke, all kinds of things that are amazing. Did you hear it, Jared? You were there, right? Okay. All right, so holistic believes the body has the power to heal itself. Western medicine treats most health conditions with drugs. So holistically, they're going to put your body in optimal position to get healed. Western medicine, you're going to get a drug. In holistic health, you're responsible for his or her own health. And, I always talk about people learning to use their guidance system because we get so far away from that. In Western medicine, patient must listen to the doctor who's an authority of health. And we always get the message, ask your doctor if this is right for you. Don't stop taking your medication without talking to your doctor. And even last week, I told Dr. Larson, it's like, I want to find someone that can teach a class on how to use our own guidance system to figure out what we need to heal, right? So she said, okay, she's going to do it. So I think that would be an amazing part of normal health care is for people to tap into their own and make their decisions. So also with holistic and Western medicine, holistic appointments can be 1 to 2 hours. In Western medicine, you're going to be there like 15 minutes, right? I remember the first time I went to acupuncturist and they were, they ask you everything about your life. How do you sleep? What do you eat? What do your poops look like? And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's weird, But they go really thorough. And there's no time, right? They're just in and out. What insurance do you have? There's so many different ways to diagnose live blood cell analysis. Both Alfonso Manzo and the veterinarian that was on here talked about that, the Ayurvedic and acupuncture do tongue and pulse analysis. Muscle testing is learning to use your own guidance system. And also the Dr. Jeffrey Saffer that John recommended and Jared's doctor, they all do these energy healing. Dr. Holt, right? I blanked on his name. But they scan your whole energy field and you can find imbalances long before they become a disease in the body, right? So there's so many ways, and the doctors, they don't use most of these ways. So working to get the patient back in balance. Again, they do the lab test, right? And this captures some stuff, but there's a lot of stuff it doesn't capture. And follows the guidelines of the FDA and CDC. Okay, so I think more people now than 10 years ago go, okay, no thank you. Natural products for treatments include herbal remedies, supplements, essential oils. So trying to keep it natural, and these are, of course, pharmaceutical. Any comments or questions on this? I'll keep going.
I'm amazed already. There's just so much that we don't know that it seems like they didn't want us to know. I don't know.
You're in the right place, Jim.
Okay.
And also the whole idea of getting away from looking at the whole body, where they do these specialties, which I know it's important to have specialties, but it's also important to communicate and know what cardiologist has to know what happens with the lung, what happens with other things that's interconnected. And so many doctors don't do that.
And they don't know how. I mean, like what Alfonso Manzo is showing how it's all connected, which you haven't seen it yet, I know, Deborah, but and we'll talk more about that in a little bit here. So, okay, I'll keep going here. This next section is in my book, and this is kind of the core of my book, Off Balance, and comparing Western medicine and holistic, like a visual comparison. And so, holistically, the goal is to restore balance. So, our body has a lot of components that have to be kept in balance. We have to be a certain temperature, a certain pH level. We have to have so much glucose in the bloodstream to be delivered to the cells. And there's tons of mechanisms to keep everything in balance. So your body's always working to create balance. So when you're sick, then there's something off balance. Maybe you're missing a nutrient. Maybe you have an emotion that's not expressed. Maybe there's a toxin there that hasn't been released. So there's all kinds of things. And holistically, they're going to try and find out what the root cause is and get you best set up to heal yourself. So it looks kind of boring, but here's the Western medicine version. So you go to the doctor and say you have rheumatoid arthritis. That's chronic swelling in the joints. And again, we don't know what causes it, right? If you look, they have no idea. So you're going to go and say, okay, I don't feel good. What do you do? And the doctor says, okay, no problem. Let's give you a ibuprofen here. That's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory that reduces swelling, and you can take it. So you feel better. So you're like, right, thank you so much. I feel so supported. I feel great. But they don't know what causes it. So eventually the disease is going to progress, or you're going to get side effects. You take ibuprofen too long, you can have problems with stomach and the ulcers and stuff. So now you go back to the doctor, you say, it's not working anymore. What can I do? And they go, okay, no problem. We'll give you the second medication, right? So now you have two different medications here, two different side effect profiles, and you're not getting any closer. The second lines are things like methotrexate and actually hydroxychloroquine, which is a terrible one. But now you're on two different meds and two different side effects, and they still don't know the cause. And so again, eventually the disease progresses or the side effects occur, and you're going to have to go back to the doctor again. And all drugs have side effects, so a lot of times you'll lose nutrients. You know, if you take methotrexate, you need folic acid. If you take Lasix, you need potassium, and that's the ones they know. You know, all drugs have side effects is what they teach you. And so now eventually they'll give you these high-tech drugs, right, that aren't covered on insurance. So you tried this, you tried that, and it's still not working. You still have inflammation. So now you need a prior authorization. Now you're on, and this is what we do with our chronic medicine, chronic pain, or chronic patients here. So they're on multiple medications, multiple side effects, off balance for the long term. They feel terrible, and their healthcare costs a fortune. So this is 90% of our spending is to have people look like this, and they're not healing them, right? They don't know how to heal them. And this is what they look like in the pharmacy. So, oops, sorry, just take that to make these go away. You know, one pill after another, you got a side effect, we got a pill for that, we got a pill for that, and yes, it's covered on insurance, so this is what we're doing. So anyway, that's from my book, Off Balance, that I wrote. So this next section I'm going to talk about is called the 7 Planes of Existence. And this, when I first heard it, I thought it was really amazing because there's all these things, there's rolfing, there's all these healing things, and it kind of put everything in perspective for me. So I really kind of grabbed onto this. And the 7 Planes of Existence was first described by Vianna Stibal, creator of Theta Healing. And it's a healing technique of meditation and a spiritual philosophy with aim to become closer to the creators. So these guys can do instant healings, and according to Vianna, everything in the entire universe is made up of these 7 planes all working together. So the first plane is rocks, crystals, minerals, and the Mother Earth. And non-organic molecules, we have to have the first plane in order to survive. Our bones are made out of minerals, and there are powerful healing modalities that use rocks, crystals, and minerals. And so we had Terry Chamberlain on, who teaches about, he was talking about the minerals, and it's like if you don't get enough minerals in your diet, it's going to pull it out of your bones. It's going to pull it out of other places. We had Barbara Lopez, who shared the healing power of gemstones and how they help. So that would be part of the first plane. Dylan Lewis Monroe said he could talk about crystals, and I haven't been able to pin him down to come back and do that. And Terry Chamberlain actually really helped me a lot as someone, he said, with, you know, I've had TMJ that I've worked on and done all kinds of treatments. And he was saying, if you have TMJ and tooth decay, then you need this calcium. So I've been taking that calcium, and I feel like it's making a big difference for me. So, because you could heal on the other ones, but if you don't have the minerals you need, then you're still going to have problems, right? The second plane is plants and nature spirits. So these are organic molecules, and we need these to survive. We need plants, we need vitamins. Healing modalities include herbs, plants, vitamins, and homeopathy. We've had, well, I mean, Ed Griffin talked about how vitamin B17 can heal cancer, and that's been a suppressed therapy. There's a lot of nutrition that, and I feel like we need more nutrition, people. I feel like for all the episodes we've had on deprescribing, we haven't had a lot on nutrition. So I'm going to look at that after looking at all these. Guess Deborah agrees. Okay. We also had homeopathy. Jen Dillon talked about her homeopathic protocol to help. It even helps with people that have been injured with vaccines. And Robert Scott Bell talked about homeopathy. So that's part of this plane. The third plane is the animal world. We as humans are most connected, and this is the plane of emotions and movement. And so the healing modalities physically move and change the body. So include massage, yoga, that would include rolfing, physical therapy, as well as Western medicine. So all these, and this is the one that they say we're most connected to, most familiar with. So spirit world, this gets a little out there, but it's part of it. We're just not as connected. Where our ancestors reside and where we go in between lifetimes, the belief that we as humans are spirit that incarnate into the physical body. We all have a strong connection to the fourth plane, and that includes the healing modalities like Native American, Polynesian healing methods, as well as shamanism. So kind of these nature ones.
Huna healing. Huna.
Hawaiian healing?
Yeah, Huna. 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 There's some of that. I'm kind of looked into it a little bit. It's pretty cool.
See, it'd be good. I haven't had a speaker on one of these guys either yet, so one day. We'll get them. Okay. The fifth plane is a realm of duality, good and evil, also known as the astral plane. The plane of good and evil, where forces of light and forces of darkness wage an internal war. So this is a very dramatic one. Traditional religions and spiritual teachings rooted in the fifth plane, and they include angel healings, where practitioners call in different types of angels to perform healings and manifestations for their clients. So, and I know some people that are very connected to that, where they go, you need this archangel for this, or you would call this one for that. So again, that would be interesting to have. It's probably a little out there for some, but it's one. This sixth plane, now all of a sudden this one becomes more familiar because it's getting a lot more attention. Laws of the universe. Laws regulate, balance, and control how all things manifest and interact with each other. Examples in the sixth plane include the law of attraction, law of gravity, law of time, law of cause and effect, and Newton, Einstein, Tesla were all natural sixth plane intuitives. So these are sort of making a big comeback now. We're hearing more and more of these. Healing includes astrology, numerology, sacred geometry, vibration machines, and sound and light therapies. So again, these are much more popular now. So the fifth plane, angel healings, isn't very popular, but all of a sudden this one becomes a little more known. And then the seventh plane is all that is. Everything that all that is, ever was, and ever will be. It's all other planes combined. God, Goddess, Source, Essence, the infinite intelligence of the universe expressed to itself, the energy of creation itself. And using the energy of seventh plane can bring instant healings of incurable diseases. Examples of this include theta healing. And so that's who wrote this. And, it's kind of funny because the incurable things that are treated, they're never studied. They're just like, oh, it's dismissed as something random, right? But I think there's some people that have actually studied them and the pattern and when that can happen. So, and also the Lisa Schermerhorn, who did the quantum healing, she talked about a little bit about the future and the past and healing generations with her healing. So this might be a touch of that as well. So anyway, so these are the different planes right here. And you can see we touched on a lot of them in Deprescribing, right? I mean, this is interesting, right?
I took a picture.
Okay.
I'm going to look into it. That's why I've heard a lot about this.
Yeah. It's
been coming up more so. You and I just kind of briefly went over this a few times on messaging, but there's so many practices out there that were avoided back in, I think, during the Flexner report, we all know. Yeah. And then 1912 or whatever, and then they all stifled it. Just kind of and I think it's all important for us to know these things for sure.
Like I said, you're in the right place, right, Deborah? Like, because I mean, we like there's stuff I'm still fascinated about it all the time when I'm learning. But
Yeah, this woman is amazing. But I can talk about that later.
who, me?
Well,
Oh,
yes, of course you're
okay.
amazing.
Did you
Amazing.
like this? I want to know your input from the Jared or Joanne. I mean, John. Did you like this? This I
Yes,
haven't.
I agree. You are amazing.
No,
I
okay. You
welcome.
guys can butter me up later. My goodness.
Just don't start rolfing. Don't start rolfing her.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Oh, I love it.
All right, I'm just gonna eat that stuff up. Okay. So, all right. So this next section that I'm gonna do here. Oh, Deborah said, I know someone whose angel healing brings gemstone healing. Oh, that's great. See, there's so many interests. I have to get more people lined up too. So, okay, let's move on here. This next section is this is not the next section. So this I wanted to point out now that these are the classical healthcare systems that were around a long time ago. There's traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, and these were around. They've been around thousands of years. So we'll talk about those real quick. But healthcare system for over 3,000 years in China. The body is viewed as an energetic being, yin and yang, opposite polar forces. Its basic concept is a vital force of life called qi. Surges through the body. Imbalance or block of qi can lead to illness and disease. So this is saying energy causes disease. And so they use acupuncture, where needles are inserted in certain points of the body, and they're considered passageways through which energy flows through the body. And diagnostic tools, again, this is where they'll talk to you for an hour and a half. They'll look at your tongue, they'll check your pulse, and they'll kind of figure out who you are as a person. So, and then they'll use herbal medicine too. And so this I thought was really interesting because, if you go to a practitioner, a lot of them use one of the planes, right? Or one of the things, their nutrition. These guys use nutrition, herbal medicine, they'll use energy. What other plane are they? Movement, because I think the Tai Chi or, yeah, yoga's Ayurvedic. But they use different planes of healing that we just learned about to help each patient. And the Ayurvedic medicine is similar, over 3,000 years. In India is what they use. And Ayurvedic means getting in touch with your spirit or inner voice and listening to it when you make decisions. Addresses lifestyle, routine, job, diet, relationship dynamics. So I think if you go see one of those patients, and they'll look at what needs help first, like if you go to one of those doctors, so they'll address you long term. Changes in lifestyle, yoga, so movement and energy, meditation, and herbal formulations, again using many different of the planes of existence there. And the goal is to find a way of living that is healthiest for them. So it's very customized. I don't know if you feel very unique or special when you go to a medical doctor, but this is much different. Um, and diagnostic tools, they also use the tongue and check the pulse. So similar to, there's some parallels with the acupuncture, but both of these have stood the test of time. I mean, they've been around forever and people still do them, but it's just a much slower healing, you know, committed than going to Western medicine. And I interviewed a lady in my interview a lady in my book called, and she's chapter 3, and she was a medical doctor and left medicine to do Ayurvedic medicine. So we'll get her on one of these days as well. I haven't reached out yet. So I was going to share this too. This is this energy report that I did, and this is like Jared's doctor did, or Dr. Saffer, where they do a reading, you know, and it's like this is the stuff they find, that they count the dots outside of the box here. And here you can see I have GI issues over everything. There's some heavy metal. So this is just a glimpse of it. But overall, he said this was like the best reading he saw. The only 20 was really, really good. Energetically, I'm balanced. So I was kind of excited to hear that, of course. But then it's kind of funny because when I went to the dentist, I had a cavity. And it's like, okay, well, my energy is good, but I'm not getting my minerals. So I've been really focusing on the minerals. So that's what I'm saying. I'm healed. I'm fine here. I don't need energy medicine. Of course, I'd still do it. and there's some toxins, heavy metals, lymphatic stuff. So all this stuff really interesting when you get these reports and what you need to work on. But I know the minerals have helped me a lot. I've been really adding them to my diet, and I feel like it's made a huge benefit for me. So I'm working on my first plane. Okay. All right. So 7 pillars of health, and these are what I come up with after doing Deprescribing and my own thing, and this is the one where I was talking when I did my last talks. I would say the 7 pillars of health. See if you agree, and afterwards, which of these do you go to your doctor and expect them to help you with it? So nutrition is the first one, and then, well, I don't want to. I'm just going to go through these one by one, and then we'll combine them at the end. So nutrition, I have a little extra stuff on our connection with food, which I think is really fascinating. And this is a book called Anastasia, and this is an excerpt from a book. It's a story of a Russian man's encounter with a woman named Anastasia, who he met lived in the woods of Siberia during an expedition. She lives in harmony with the natural world and shares with him many fascinating ideas. So I really love this part, so I wanted to share it too. It's basically about our connection to food. Every seed you plant contains within itself an enormous amount of information about the universe. Through the help of these data, the seed knows exact time down to the millisecond when it is to come alive, grow, what juices it is to take from the earth, how to make use of the rays of the celestial bodies, the sun, moon, and stars, what it is to grow into, what fruit to bring forth. I was talking about the miracle of a seed, right? And it even goes beyond that. These fruits are designed to sustain man's life more powerfully and effectively than any manufactured drug of the present or future. These fruits are capable of counteracting and withstanding any disease of the human body. But to this end, that seed must know about the human condition, so that during the maturation process, it can satiate its fruit with the right correlation of substances to heal a specific individual of his disease, if indeed he has it or is prone to it. So she describes a process to imbue or load information into a seed and communicate more consciously with plants. And before planting, you put it in your mouth, more of those little seeds, hold them into your mouth under the tongue for at least 9 minutes. Then place the seed between the palm of your hands and hold it there for about 30 seconds. During this time, it's important that you be standing barefoot on the spot of the earth where you will later be planting it. Open your hands and carefully raise the seed which you're holding to your mouth. Then blow on it lightly, warming it with your breath, and the wee little seed will know everything that is within you. So that shows like our connection to nature and how you can actually. I mean, these plants grow and they happen to give nutrition on what we need, right? So how is that possible, right? And this kind of this is the book if you want to read more about it. But I thought that was amazing because I mean, how is it that all the plants and the vegetables know what we need in our bodies? And here's more specific that you could do for yourself. So I thought this was amazing. The main thing is to infuse the garden with information about yourself. If this is done correctly, then the plants will be much more effective at healing. She says that nature really is not wild. It is just unfamiliar to you. There are a great many plants that can help us cure all, and I mean all existing diseases. These plants have been designed for that purpose, but man has lost or almost lost the ability to identify them. So if you make connections with plants in your garden plot, they will take care of you and cure you. They will make the right diagnosis all by themselves and prepare the most effective medicine especially designed for you. So anyway, I love that. I actually, one of the doctors that was in the group once, she was laughing at this, but I'm like, there's no laughing in Deprescribing, number one. But I thought it's just really fascinating. So, and here's another part too that talks about the connection with food and how we look like our food. Carrots look like the eyes, and they're good for the eyes. Vitamin A, which keeps eyes healthy. Walnut looks like a brain. Ridges and cross section like the brain, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acid, which helps with functioning of the brains. And then tomato, you cut to a tomato, and it represents the chambers of our heart. And so, just you can look into these too, but I thought it was really amazing. So we're very connected to food, more than we know. A bunch of grapes represents the alveoli of the lungs. Grapes helps lungs by staying healthy and are also beneficial to asthma. So anyway, I don't think these are coincidences. What do you think, Joanne? Do you like that information?
Yes,
Okay.
grapes especially.
Yeah, grapes. Kidney looks like kidney beans. I mean, you can't argue that one. Citrus, the breast, bones looks like celery. So anyway, there's just like a lot more order in the world. And one of the books that was really amazing for me is The Medical Medium's Life-Changing Food. And he discusses each one, general information, what conditions and something, symptoms of food can help with, what types of emotional food uh, they provide, as well as a spiritual lesson and recipes. And this is the one where he talks about blueberries, which I've talked about a lot of times. Wild blueberries, highest proportion of antioxidants of any food on the planet. When you eat these berries, their innate intelligence reads your body, searches out potential diseases, monitors your stress and toxicity levels, and figures out the best way to heal you. It's the only food that does that. So this should be in everyone's diet. Also, we learned in Alzheimer's that it's great for brain health and helps detoxify. So these you get only from Maine, not just regular blueberries, but wild blueberries. So the other part of nutrition is digestion. Um, so it's important for the food we get to get absorbed and the waste eliminated. So that's functional medicine. They start out with the gut and other practices. They all say all disease starts in the gut, and the food's not getting absorbed. Then you know that's a good place to start. And also we had Jen Vandewater. She was a pharmacist who went from being a pharmacist to a pharmacist who's growing her own food and helping heal and going to natural foods. So she was a pharmacist that kind of figured it out. Okay, so and then detoxification. Again, we're bombarded with toxins in the air, food, water, skin products, cleaning products, vaccines, and it adds stress to our body, creates a burden for our body to deal with it, and causes disease. And we have systems in place. Our lungs detox, our skin, our liver, all these lymphatic system is all working to detoxify the body, but we get overwhelmed with toxins, right? So we have to make an effort. Water, we well, Patty Klinger, who's not here today, she did an intro to detoxification for us, and that was from her own research as a nurse, a deep dive. Ethan Lucas has a product called Cyrona, which is glutathione to help detox the liver. We also have Lance Shuttler, and he had a product, humic fulvic acid, that pulls out toxins in the body. And then also, almost forgot to mention the water fasting. You know, Dr. Alan Goldhammer, a 21-day water fast gets rid of tons of toxins. Even a 3-day water fast, you can really reset a lot of your body. So detox is a huge subject as well. So we are overloaded. Okay. And we don't learn anything about detoxification in pharmacy school. We just heal everything with another toxin. So, any questions or anything right now, or keep going?
No, it's good stuff.
Thank you,
I'm
Jim.
doing the water fasting now. It is already making a difference, so thank you.
Well, how far along are you?
Well, I eased into it. First, I was doing intermittent fasting. I ate very little the last 2 days. Today, it's just water and my supplements. Feeling a whole lot better.
Isn't it amazing how much energy you have when you don't eat? It's crazy. It's like, well, good for you, Jared. That's not easy to do. You got to really get your mind.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just
Thank
do
you.
it. Yeah. Okay, so number 3, power of the mind. And this, we talk about how our thoughts are more powerful than most of us realize. And our minds can make us healthy and strong, or they can make us sick. Our thoughts can make us healthier or sicker. And the pharmaceutical companies understand the power of the mind. So they're going to make you think that we need them to be healthy. And so there's, you know, in some of my last presentations, I've been showing how they use different language. If you go to the American Diabetes Association, they talk about how you're going to be in shock when you have diabetes and how it's so horrible. And but they're going to help you, and they're going to help you manage diabetes. They never help you reverse it. They don't talk about reversing it, but they're going to help you manage it. So they have a lot. Deborah's math, a little math. So they have a lot of ways to disempower you on there. And also, we were showing that on Alzheimer's, and the CDC website literally said, if you catch it early, then you could start doing financial planning. They didn't have anything to help with brain health, right? I mean, it's so bad when you start looking at those sites with clear eyes. And then the limiting beliefs, oh, it's not curable. It's like, oh, okay, are you sure? Or this I can't heal, or I'm going to have this for a long time. You're going to be diabetic for a long, long time. You don't know. So, oh, you have 6 months to live. And it's the patients that just tell the doctor, shut up. You don't know what I can do, right? You don't believe them. The ones that don't believe them and go on their own are the ones that do really well. So, and then Duncan Tooley, he was able to heal his own neuropathy using hypnotherapy, right? That's definitely power of the mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, again, just having the belief that they take away the beliefs for a lot of people that you can heal, and I think getting that back is actually the first step. Like, they don't know what's possible. And that's one of the first thing a chiropractor told me. He said, "Oh yeah, we do really well with people with asthma." I'm like, asthma, that's not curable, right? He goes, "Well, it's true, it's not curable if you only go to a medical doctor, but if you go other places, you can heal it." And that's turned out to be quite true. So, okay, so need to learn how to use our mind to best optimize our health. I also talk about people when they say "I am." When you say "I am" something, it's actually creating it right there, and it's very powerful. And so you say "I am healing," but people use it, say "I am diabetic." I'm a diabetic. Now you're establishing it. I'm falling apart. So all these things to be really aware of when you say "I am" is important. And listen to people when they talk too. When they say "I am" something carelessly, it's like, oh. And I correct people all the time in the pharmacy. I'm falling apart. It's always one thing after another. No, stop saying it. You just, you just got through the worst of it. I am healing. I am through all the junk. Now it's going uphill. Okay, emotions, and I love this little teddy bear here.
It's cute.
Yeah, he is. You had something to share, Deborah?
Well, I'm just so glad that you help the people who come to the pharmacy when you can by telling them that, you are healing, you're getting over this. I mean, that's so awesome. And I know you can't do much in your position, but that is great that you help them with that.
Yeah, sometimes they
I
really.
was clapping to you. I was celebrating you.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a hand up. Okay. Very expressive today, Deborah. Thank you. Okay. So emotions, according to Sigmund Freud, unexpressed emotions never die. They are buried alive and they come forth later in uglier ways. And he said that in the 1800s. And we've had different people on emotions too. We learned that emotions should be felt, expressed, and released. And we don't ever get any lessons on how to deal with emotions, right? You just kind of follow your parents. And some people have dads that don't express anything, and then someone pokes them the wrong way and they explode, or someone that's crying all the time and never, what's the healthy way to do it? And they say if you invite the emotion in and you say, okay, come on in, let me feel it, and then you express it, it'll go away. It's the pushing it away, not wanting to feel emotions, not wanting to, having the alcohol instead, or the candy, or whatever it is. People push emotions away. This would be a huge step, and I think, in healing the country, if people learn how to express and release emotions. And we learn that unexpressed emotions or stuck emotions can cause health issues and disease. And we learn this a lot from, Louise Hay has her book, You Can Heal Your Life. On here, we've had Marie Ann Bollerand 3 times now, and she talks about how diseases is your body healing the body. Oh, we have some chat. Let me see what's happening here. It's pretty amazing. Be right back. We are human, not perfect. Okay. Yes, I know Deborah works with kids and emotions and dealing with it on a daily basis. So that is awesome. That needs to be in all the schools, So we've had Don Milton share how to release, and Laura Worley. They both did EFT, emotional freedom technique, where you tap and you use the meridian system, the Chinese meridians, to help release emotions. And Marie talks about how emotions, and how if emotions aren't expressed and released, they can cause disease. And the biodecoding is, I think, one of the most fascinating things too. And also Don Milton shared about different daily things to do to express and release emotions, like meditation, journaling. I don't know if you talked about gratitude, but waking up with gratitude every day and getting yourself, in the law of attraction, in the right state of mind. So I think again, this is one of the most important and overlooked things in Western medicine, healing. Um, Original wisdom. All right, y'all tell us about that. Is that emotions, Jim?
Yeah, I've just been looking at it. It's by Robert Wolf. This guy goes into these pretty ancient cultures, and the thing that I got out of it the most was these shaman, in a sense, will spend time with the families and
Yeah,
find out what's going on. Why is your son having, or your daughter having issue, or your uncle, whatever? And instead of just going there for 10 or 15 minutes and somebody writing you a prescription, here it is. They actually research, and by spending time with the family,
yeah.
finding out where this is coming from. Is it a pot, a pan? Is it some dish that you're serving, or something that's not working?
Yeah,
It's
what's
it's
the
it, it's the actual real investigative process of healing people, and
yeah.
it's impressive.
What's interesting too is Ayurvedic and acupuncture for years that the healers were part of the community, so they knew the patients on a different level than they
Yeah,
do today. And even pharmacists, maybe in old times, where they knew the families. So anyway, I will look that book up. All right,
yeah.
so let's do Western medicine. We use Prozac. That's it. That's what you got. Okay, lifestyle, daily habits that can make a big impact on our health. Grounding, gratitude, avoid smoking, not smoking, avoiding negative thoughts or people. So all these little things, and I think John, we were talking about earlier, the small things you could do every day can make huge difference in your health. And grounding is free, yet we're so disconnected from it. That people don't know you can walk barefoot on the earth and have these amazing benefits. So and then energy medicine is number 6 here. Involves the various types of energy fields. I'm spending a little time on this one since it's trending. So the goal is of these therapies is to remove stuck energy or bring energy into the patient, and to balance the energy within the patient. And so emotions not expressed can lead to energy that are stuck or imbalanced, and that can lead to health conditions or disease. So it all comes together. Emotions that aren't expressed or released become stuck energy. Stuck energy becomes a health condition or disease. And again, we don't recognize that in Western medicine, but look at all these practices that recognize it. Is traditional Chinese medicine. If you're sick, you have stuck energy. Your chi is stuck. It's not moving. So there's blockage. Light, sound, and magnet therapies. Mel Carmine was here and he was talking about that as well. He has those healing centers, energy enhancement centers, and so that uses light and sound. So those are more and more common. Reiki, I think we need a Reiki practitioner, but it's a Japanese thing, and it's kind of the light touch where they move energy. They kind of work on you personally and move the energy. Qigong, this physical station, like I think you're standing and you're moving your arms and things like that, but it's also to move the I believe it's part of the Chinese medicine, but I'm sort of forgot, so I hope that's right. But anyway, it's to promote energy flow. Um,
Monk stuff, Tai Chi.
is it monk stuff? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought I had more. Where's my? I had more than this. There's like 4 more. Now they're gone. Well, maybe they'll be coming up later. Okay. Um. Okay. Why is this here? We already did this. I must have messed something up here. Here's some more right here. Okay. Quantum healing. So Lisa Schermerhorn that was on. She does that, and um, really fascinating. I did a session with her. I think she's very good. And essential oils. So if you put essential oils on different spots in your body, then they know where it's going to go. So if you put on the ankle, it'll go to the ovary. So that uses the energy systems to use that. Emotional freedom technique uses the energy systems to do the stuck emotions, right? The tapping on the face. And polarity therapy. Now, Michael Apigian that came, he does a cranial sacral, but that's using both hands, and it's the same thing that Dr. Alfonso Manzo did. They have both hands on the body, they're like a battery, and you can feel the energy between them. And so they're using, so all these different therapies use energy medicine as part of it, is as to help work for it. So moving energy in the body is really important. So it's really I think it's amazing that we got to see a lot of these people and how they use it, and kind of put it in perspective. So, um, okay, why is this here again? I don't know. I guess we're just reviewing that again. Guess I have to touch this up. Just ignore that. Okay, here's the meridian channels. So this and Alfonso Monzo had another thing like this, but this is the main a circulatory system of energy, much like a blood. And he was talking about how they even test it. Like you can put the meter on it and it'll stop. And if you put it on one of these, they could see it with the meter and where it's going to go. So he was talking about how they discovered these different ones. That's why you put something on your foot here, then it's going to affect way up here, on the red line. If you put it here, so everything's connected. Any part of the body can be used to treat other parts of the body. And meridians allow the flow of vital energy called chi, pronounced chi. So iridology is another way that people means to assess, not diagnose clients in their current physical and emotional state of being. The iris of the eye has 70,000 nerves are connected by every organ and tissue of the body by way of the brain and nervous system. And so an incredible way to assess the quality of tissue, nervous, and lymphatic system of the organism. It does it by showing us where inflammation is within the body. So an iridologist can look in your eye and see all these different things, and there's a connection. It connects to everything in the body. And so one day we'll have an iridologist on here. Reflexology is also the feet has connections with everything. If you push on a certain part of the foot, then it's going to affect the liver. Another part's going to affect the lungs. And if there's a part that hurts, then that might be tension. A system of massage used to relieve tension and treat illness based on the theory that there are reflex points on the feet, hands, and heads linked to every part of the body. Pressure points correspond to certain organs and muscles in the body, can even be used to stimulate the endocrine and nervous system. The ears, other. Go ahead.
Okay, my grandmother's sister, when I was younger, I guess she was paralyzed before I was old enough to understand what anything was. But she used to have these treatments of pressure points on the bottoms of her feet, so intense, pushing with some metal device, but got her legs working again.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, you could probably look it up and find out what that treatment is called, but it actually worked, and I just don't hear of it anymore. It's really interesting. I also put another book up, and I'm going to just show you the one that I was talking about. This is the one that I got. It's called Original Wisdom. That's one. Another one, which is really complex, and I'll put the link for that. Not the link, but just what it's called. Recommended book, Life and Energy by Isaac Asimov.
Oh, I know that.
Which is right. Yeah, he's pretty popular.
Okay.
There's some pretty cool stuff in that, but let me just show real fast. I mean, he gets really in depth.
Well,
and
it's kind of hard. It's a little hard to see.
It's hard to see in this.
Yeah, but hold on. I'm almost done. So let's go back.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
No, that's okay. I got a few more slides and then we can chat more.
All right, cool.
Okay, so the ear is different points on the outer ear correspond with specific organs as well. And I've been to acupuncturists that does that, and they have this little machine. And actually, I seen it too. I said I have this sore place in my back, and went buzz, and she went right to the spot in the back that was hurting. So the ear also correlates to every part on the body as well. Used to relieve pain, calm the mind, treat allergies and infectious disease, regulate endocrine system disorders, and treat chronic disease and functional disorders. And then there's the teeth chart. So the teeth also, every part correlates with different organ or area of the body. An unhealthy or root canal tooth can interfere with energy flow along the meridian that can affect those associated organs and tissues. And I've heard different people talk about that too. I don't know what the alternative though. Can't really walk around with missing teeth in LA here. So, but anyway, it's interesting, all these different choices, and you can tap into the healing by different, like if you like teeth or feet, whatever you like, you can work on that. These are the chakras, means wheels, and refer to energy points in the body, and can be thought of as the main energy centers of the body. So they're thought to be spinning discs of energy that should stay open and aligned as they correspond to bundle of nerve, major organs, and areas of our energetic body that affect emotional and physical well-being, each associated with a color and sound that can be chanted as And so when you go to Optimum Health, they actually do a sound healing, and they'll have a certain sound, and you chant with, and they'll put purple up there, and then they'll do each one, and it's sort of, you can kind of feel the sound kind of resonating with you to help you heal. So they work on opening the chakras. Um, Another thing is purpose. What are we here for? And this I like to include because Bernie Siegel, who we had very early on, he was like our third one, very dynamic, retired doctor. And he said people that were dying and they had cancer, he said, well, what are you here for? Go start living your purpose. And they started healing. So people that are, sometimes sicknesses are a wake up call to do what you're supposed to do in life, right? To like, okay, I'm going to be here a limited time. Let's start doing this. Let's go. I want to get more into that. Now, naturopathic doctor, it's a natural health doctor. They diagnose, prevent, and treat acute and chronic illnesses to restore and establish optimal health by supporting the healing process. So they're great for toxicities or other mystery illnesses, and they're not. They do these tests that aren't done by doctors on mold and heavy metals and Lyme and toxicities. So they're great for that and healing, and they can also be used for primary care. And I don't know how standard. I think they have a lot of different standards, and some are much better than others. So something to know. Their 6 principles include treat the individual, um, stimulate and support the body's inherent ability to heal, identify the root cause, address it as naturally and gently as possible, teach patients how to create wellness, and to prevent illness whenever possible. So kind of going back to the basics of health. And again, products, pharmaceutical drugs have to be FDA approved and covered on insurance. They take natural products, they modify it in a laboratory so they can make a profit, right? So it's not necessarily the best for the patient. Natural products include essential oils, herbal remedies, medicinal plants, and anything that comes from nature and isn't modified. So something to keep in mind there. So one of the last points here is this analogy of the boat. And so you have a boat, and the boat has a lot of things that needs to work and sail smoothly and effortlessly. And so it has to be maintained with paint and working parts. There's a bilge pump to get the water out when the water comes in the boat. And the captain has to navigate carefully, right, and well, and take care of it. And so what happens, like especially when people have cancer, it's like when you have a sickness, um, if you take care of your boat, it's going to sail smoothly. But if you have sickness, okay, the bilge pump doesn't work, then you can still go for a while, but water's going to come in, right? And it's still going to go. Even if it doesn't work, you can do pretty well. If the captain steers more cautiously. But at some point, there's too much water and it's going to sink, right? And it can't help anymore, so it's going to sink. So what do? Are you going to fix a bilge pump? Are you going to drive more carefully? Maybe there's a hole in the side of the boat that's getting more water in. And a lot of times people will just patch up the hole and go, okay, I feel better now, right? But there's a point where your health is optimal, and there's a point where you're just barely above water. And especially when you have cancer, it's time to look at all these different angles, all the different planes, different ways to heal. So there's a lot of components for our best health, and a couple of things have to be wrong before, are often wrong before they express symptoms until it slows down. And so again, people do nutrition, but if you're still got resentment and anger in your life, then that's going to come back, right? So it can be temporary. If you get rid of the sugar, that's great, but are you still, getting rid of toxins? So looking at all the different angles, the different planes, I think is super important. And again, if you have like a cancer or something serious, then don't do one thing, you do everything, right? You let go of the resentments, you let go of everything. And then also to know that healing happens when we're relaxed. So there's so many people that they're stressed all the time, and you don't heal when you're stressed. It's those moments where you just let go, and whatever's going on in the world, you're going to take that time out to just let go, let God, and carve out time to be totally at peace, meditate, breathe, and that's when the healing occurs. So a lot of times people are just, I have to heal, and then they go, you know what, I'm just going to let go, and that's when it happens. So people are laughing when they're having fun, and it's all this stuff is going on, but if you can change your state, then your body is going to be able to heal. They have the laughing yoga and the surrender. So when I've seen the patterns of people that are healing, they'll be sick, but there's this point where they just kind of let go and they kind of give up almost. And then the miracles happen. That's when the healing happens. So, and I guess it's not a miracle if there's rhyme and reason to it, right? There's a pattern, but so you can heal, right? So sometimes we just need that little ounce of water, that one nutrient, and you can heal. And there's so many different angles to look at it. And so that is it. Thank you. I added this guy because he's. Thank you, Jerry.
Fantastic.
Appreciate that. I added this guy. He looks so colorful, but he looks like he just wants to be left alone. You know, right?
Yeah, his mouth makes him look a little bit.
Yeah, he's just like, leave me alone. I didn't mean to be so colorful. So anyway, that was really fun to put that all together.
Nice.
It was fantastic.
Thank you.
And I love how you brought in some of the past guests that you've had and kind of helped us connect again, what they had brought.
Well, that's what I've been doing. I'm like, oh my God, I need level 1 rocks and minerals, So, it's good. So, and I'm glad you like it, Jim. Jim's been known him since like the past life, since proof that we were young at one
before time existed.
Yeah, before time. Yes, I can send you guys a PowerPoint if you want it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Okay.
I was looking at another book. I don't know if you can see it. This is what got me started. My mom gave this to me. My Irish Scandinavian mom, and I have a Hawaiian Chinese father, said, you should read this book. And I go, what? What's it about? He goes, it's just the ancient healing power of your ancestors in Hawaii.
Oh.
And it's really interesting. And that's what started me off. I got a few other books, but if it's by Max Freedom Long, I'll put some information in the chat for it. But it's the way he lays it out. It's pretty simple. Is we have a physical self, we have a now self, like the here and now self, and then we have the spiritual self, or the those days when you're just higher than a kite. Well, not literally higher than the kite, but you feel really good and you're on point and things are good. They call it the low self, which is your primal self, your middle self, which is your you and I speaking self, and then the high self, which is your spiritual side, right? And what this book says is that the middle self can't really talk to the high self. So the middle self needs to tell the low self in basically affirmations over and over and over again, like we've all heard affirmations, like you're training a dog, get up and do something, or, go get that, or make sure you don't forget this, or feel better, or act better, or do, whatever you're trying to train yourself to do. And that's really interesting. But there's this one part that I kind of thought of, and that's kind of, I created like a tetrahedron, like a four-sided triangle, right? Is that there's this one side you can't do anything about. I mean, you can only look back so far. There's things on this planet you just can't control, right? And that's when you basically give it to God, or you give it to, just chance, or give it to whatever religion it is. It doesn't matter. But that's when you were talking about, sometimes you just got to release. There's just things you just can't control. And a lot of us want to control so much right now, before it happens, et cetera, et cetera. And you can only do what you can do what you can do, and that's all you can do. That's pretty much it.
I agree. There seems to be a surrender component to healing.
You have to. Yeah, you have to just say, you know what? I've done it all, big and small. There's nothing more I can do. I just got to give it to God, and that's where it takes me.
That's so important, actually.
Yeah.
What's the author of your book?
Max Freedom Long. Here, I'll see if I can.
Max Freedom?
Yeah, you put me on main screen, or no? You can't. You don't know.
I don't really know how. Max Freedom Long. Okay.
Yeah. He did a lot I think from the late 1900s to 2000s, he did a lot of research of the Hawaiians, which was more than anybody ever did. How our consonants were taken from our language, to the invasion that we still are dealing with, but it's not it's just part of the way the world works. And then just how our diets were just great. We ate like the purest, freshest food basically on the planet, because everything from Hawaii is new, and that's the freshest, newest soil on the planet. If you ever go out, travel far and wide, and you see red soil, I'm just telling you, that's probably really good soil to plant in. So all of our foods were always really good. We didn't we never know
life.
we didn't know what obesity was until donuts and rice came around. We were always in extremely good shape. Most Polynesians ate very well, and we were always pretty thin and pretty strong, right? But the thing is now, you have Western society, you got croissants and donuts and rice and French fries and chicken tenders and all that stuff. That hasn't helped, but it sure is good. But I think the great thing about what he's opened up to, or actually investigated and revealed, is we've all been through this. Every culture. Just go back in your lineage. If you're Viking or whatever, you ate off the land. You were in a hut at some point, eating the most nutritious everything. Everything
I
you
think all
ate.
cultures are better. Like everybody's affected by all the fast food.
Yeah. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I'm not getting political here. I'm just saying. I think the addition of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was amazing
Phenomenal.
to me. Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
The guy understands. I've been following children's health defense for a long time, and I'm astonished that he's still there. To be honest with you, because there's a lot of external forces attacking him constantly, because big pharma needs to make their money, big processed food Dow needs to make their money, all these chemical companies they make, right? Even the petroleum industry isn't really happy about him.
Any other thoughts on the presentation?
It's great. I thought it was awesome.
What did you like and didn't like, Jim?
What I didn't like is we didn't have more of those cartoons. I like the cartoon stuff. I like that. I can understand cartoons. I'm a Marvel guy, so old fashioned Marvel guy, right?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was well organized too.
Oh yeah, very well.
Really helpful. You could have such great information, but if it's not organized, it kind of, you lose people. But Leyla, it was so organized. It was wonderful.
I've been looking at this and go, oh, we got this plane person now. We got this, and now you guys can do that with me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we got a third plane coming up now.
Oh, right.
Right? You know what I mean, Jared? Like where are they healing from? What's their angle? And then we had Dylan Monroe, who was also an overview guy, right? He showed all the overviews of the different healing. Do you remember him with the beautiful maps and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he
don't
was
remember their names,
Yeah, but he was someone looking at overviews sort of like I do, but in a much more artistic way. So
your visuals get better every time. Your delivery gets better every time. This is really good.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it.
I'd like to do that at some time, like in a thesis format, which I think I've only done like 3 in my life. So, in regards to my culture, Huna, and the power of healing, I've got a few books. I think it'd just be fun to get that out.
Yeah, get a presentation out.
Yeah, get a presentation out. And I do it here because you guys
do a podcast yourself, right, Jim?
I do. I've had my YouTube channel, my first one. I'm on my 5th YouTube channel due to community guidelines. Yeah. But I talk about a lot of things. I talk about I've had elected officials on.
No.
I've had doctors on. I don't know if you guys know who is Andrew Kaufman. You guys ever heard of Andrew Kaufman?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's been on Montauk. I actually put him on Odyssey because that got me, I think, banned. But then there's a bunch of people I've had on here, politicians, ex-politicians, doctors, lawyers, all kinds of stuff. But the things that I talk about, I think, are applicable and helpful, just like you're doing, in a broad array, but more political.
Yeah, and we're definitely I'm very focused in on healing. Like, I mean, I was before.
Well, I'm not going to get into any of that right now. This is relief.
Yeah,
A relief.
no,
for
but
me.
I mean, before I was going to call myself red pill pharmacist, but that's talking about lies. But I'm thanks to Deborah, my logo is Deprescribing pharmacist. So we're just finding ways for people to heal, and that's it.
Good.
And that's like a prerequisite, knowing like the dark world out there, right? So. But,
and one of the things that you mentioned earlier, Leyla, was medicine just doesn't know. But I see it as they don't have the time and or they don't look for any alternative. They're only focused and only have the time to really focus on what they learn, which is
a system level, right? Because they're taught the BS, and then when they go to help customers, they don't know other things. They don't have time anyway, and they have an ego. Right. So
some of them do. Some of them definitely do. I'm fortunate I have a primary physician that she listens to me because I've given her so much research. She finally said, well, you know more than I do.
Nice. That's a little alarming at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It is, but I know that I know their limitations because of time. And because
why do you need to go is the question. Like, do they have something you need?
Yeah. If I wanted, a referral for PT or something, and as we all know, for anything in emergency, like your arm's cut off or something, you need Western medicine, right? So you can't, not completely.
I mean, they have it, so you need them. Like, I mean, I have one now, and I needed. Well, I had an eye issue where I went to the ER, but it wasn't bad. And then they said, okay, you have to go to your doctor first. I go, why? I already went to the ER. And so they go, well, do a phone appointment. And then he asked me questions. And then you go. You know what I mean? So it's just such a stupid system. So.
While your eye is falling out at the same time.
Definitely depends on your insurance.
I had some flashing lights, so I heard it could be a torn thing, but it was okay.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, system's pretty terrible. Now what would be a good system, right? It's like someone that knows someone, well, like me, who knows all what's available and what people need and what they're open to. Do you know what I mean? And just like all of us now that are learning all this is people need to know who can help them and what's available out there.
Well, and were your flashing lights like a Z?
No, they were on the side, and I had like a floater, and I guess it was like a little detached thing, but it wasn't serious.
I just learned about eye migraines. I've seen like an oval patch of Z lights.
Yeah, my friend was talking about that.
And they said it was an eye migraine.
Yeah, optical migraine. I had one or two of those in my life. Yeah.
Didn't hurt. Just scared me. Thought I was having a stroke.
This thing said that you get it when you're older. I'm like, well, that's not me. I'm not getting old people stuff yet. No.
Oh, yeah. We know. And of course, if they don't know what causes it, it's like, well, we just have this medicine or, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously something's out of balance.
There you go. They did a scan, so I knew it's not bad. I'm still supposed to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
I keep muting this because I have a screaming elderly senile cat.
Oh, no.
Anyway. Anything else on the presentation? You guys, I'm glad you liked it. And I thought it was really evolved since I first did it,
Oh, yeah. And visually it was beautiful.
Got to do those bright colors.
Now, the next step is we have to get you a larger audience.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of stuff in place.
Work on that.
Getting a lot of stuff in place with Beth and stuff, so, it's good. And I got this, Jared, I think. Pretty excited about this. A new laptop.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm working off a 10-year-old desktop, guys. So it's like,
There you go. That's going to solve some issues for you.
I
Nice.
think
Very
so.
nice.
Yeah. Very excited about that. Anyway, so all right. Well, I guess we're good. I don't know who's next week. I don't have anybody scheduled yet, but I'm going to get somebody.
I'll find some people for you.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah.
People, the audience here is people that are Western medicine but want to be introduced.
Yep.
So
It'll be
don't
about
want-
that. I know a few people. I'll try to get them. I'll just get them in touch with you. You go
yeah,
from
not too spiritual and not too sciencey. Then we
there.
Have you had an acupuncturist yet?
Dennis Kinane did traditional Chinese. Remember Dennis, the pharmacist? So, and I have people that call. I just need to spend a little time doing that today. Because I had like nice people lined up for a month, and I'm like, oh my god, there's nobody today. I'm like, okay, I've been wanting to do this one, so that's how that worked out.
Good.
Yeah. So, but
So what do you mean by not too sciencey?
huh?
Right.
What do you mean by not too sciencey?
Well, like people like we don't want to talk into a medical community. Like if I talk to pharmacists different than I would regular,
Oh, okay.
which I don't even know how to do that anymore. But some people, and then we just ask them to define the terms, right? So, but we want it at a level that anybody can understand.
Exactly. Okay, I see what you mean.
There's one guy I know, he does this healing stuff, scalar healing, and he'd probably come on, but I don't think we'd understand him, because it's really out there, but we could try it.
Yeah, if they can't talk to lay people, then it's hard, right?
Exactly, and it's not everybody, and some
That's
people are
me.
really.
Mr. Lay himself, right here.
Oh dear.
Is that because you're from Hawaii?
Part of it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Southern California. I'm from Southern California, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
All
if
right.
you have any suggestions, I'll be reaching out to people.
I'm gonna say aloha, guys. Thank you so much. Big mahalos for Leyla putting this
Bye.
together. Great to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Uh,
Good to meet you.
I'll
I
put a
hope you'll
link
be-
to my channel inside of the
Yeah, go for it.
real quick before I skedaddle. Thank you
Yeah,
all.
and thank you for your book suggestions
Yeah,
too.
there's a bunch of stuff out there. It's just getting somebody like Leyla to put it together nicely.
Mhm.
Thank you, Leyla.
I could give you a nudge.
Hey, is Kelly here? It looks like Kelly's in there. Hey, Kelly, she's listening.
Kelly's probably working, but sometimes she pops in.
Ah,
so.
that's cool.
Did you put your URL in there, James?
Yeah, I'm going
Jim?
to right
Oh.
about somewhere. Here, I'll just do this way. Right about. There you go. All right.
All right.
Aloha, guys. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye,
Bye.
Jim. All right.
Bye.
Any